Hey, it's the Make Place. I'm Josh, and this is video number 2. If you weren't here for last video, go back and watch that. We started to just make a bit of a Pokemon with a 3D pen. We're using a Scribed Pen, and we're using it again today. I really wasn't happy with just leaving last week's project unfinished, so I thought we'd introduce something to the channel. The box of unfinished businesses. I thought, I hope I don't have to use this, but I have a busy life and I don't always get to finish my art projects as well as I'd like. So if I start a video and we don't really finish it, I think it has to go into the box of unfinished busyness for another video later on. And so today, let's do that other video. I've got a couple of other ideas I want to start to make for you on the channel. So it's coming up to Christmas, so we might go through a bit of a snowman with some really nice texture. I'll just zoom in a little bit, show you sort of really good snow-like feature. So I think we'll do a bit of a snowman walkthrough one of the next videos, but I want to get back to our Gengar today. And yeah, this is something that I've worked on before just to see if I could, and I was pretty stoked with how this guy came out. You know, I could still improve on this, I think, but if you're going to compare apples and oranges, you know, I think at least let's get this guy today a little more this guy. So I'll try to shut up a bit more, maybe just chill out and work with the 3D pen and the soldering iron, and then hopefully we'll get a bit of colour on. But I just need to spend some time on the back. So I've got the 3D pen ready to go. Let's put the box of unfinished busyness away and let's get this project finished. Thanks for coming to my channel. It's a very new channel and I'm pushing myself to get out there and make things and try to inspire you to make things. So jump into the comments, please subscribe, like, let me know that you're watching. So let's go, I'll get making. I just need to kick my pen off. I've got an extractor fan going and I've got a little bit of Radiohead playing in the background, so you've got to get your vibe right. Just got to wait for the pen to warm up. The red light will turn to a green light. I'm just going to drop the temperature to 195. Try to keep the cords out of your way. It's the most frustrating thing. We've got a green light, so let's go. I might just find the flow for a minute and shut up and try to get some work done. Just going back and forward, kind of making sure I touch down at each end. I touch down, move the filament, touch down, move it across, and you're just creating a bit of a bridge. Yeah, I'll move it closer so you can see what I mean. So touch it down, touch down and walk it across, touch down, walk it across. You're just giving yourself some plastic to work with when you colour in. So okay, I'm just going to make a tail on the back. Gengar's got a little tail here, so just a couple of gravity loops. Just let the filament drop down. Gonna have to turn Radiohead down. I hope you can hear me. Second video, so I'm still getting all of my audio on track. Give me a second, I'll be back. So we're starting to fill in the back a little bit. Just doing these little loops on the tail. We'll get the tail in shape. And our Gengar is starting to look the part. I can see it. There's just a lot of cleaning up to do. I really like just putting on some music and, you know, chilling out. This is a really therapeutic way. I find my flow really quickly with a 3D pen for some reason. So I think every artist's different. You might work with, you know, chiseling rock and that's your flow, but that's cool. Sort of squish it in there sometimes. You know, we've nearly got enough there. I can get the soldering iron out. Got a tail we can work with. You know, he stands up now. You see a couple of the friends in the background. I mean, this is what I'm trying to go for, is a finish like this. This was early on, and I challenged myself to see if I could draw any of the Pokemon. And I didn't think I could do any of this. And I was so stoked with how they came out. They're totally my friends. Now they watch me in the shower. Maybe that's a bit too much information. But yeah, they just stand looking at me while I get nude. And I don't mind. Because I brought them to life. They're kind of like my little babies. They're my little 3D babies. And check out Snorlax. Wicked. You know, I think it's important that they can all stand up. And they can. But he's not going to perform for me now. He will when I lead him against his buddy. So yeah, I'm trying to just fill in all of the 3D material. And then for these guys, I used a bit of a texture paste and an acrylic. But I think I've started to use a bit more of a water-based paint with some ink. And yeah, I'm just still learning different ways to bring up different finishes. I showed in the other video, you know, this guy here's got some resin. And yeah, I've got some 3D filament now, so I can start to bring in things like maybe the eyes glow. I've got some other tricks on the way too. We've got some magnets, some different LED lights that are triggered with microwave, like magnetic magic, so we can use our imagination and come up with some pretty cool stuff. This is another little finish I just worked on with some resin, but a few different layers of glitter, which I kind of handmade the glitter as well. But this all started with the 3D pen as well. So Ditto's a really cool one. We might make in another video. Hit the subscribe button. I'll get on with Gengar. I always get sidetracked and start chatting, so. Sorry, it got really quiet there, just chilling out. That's why I like art. You just get into the flow. Just see what I need to do. And yeah, I think I'm pretty much at the point. I'm going to pull out the soldering iron and start to just clean up these lines. Remember, think about your health. Use safety equipment. You need to use all of your extraction fans and yeah, breathing apparatus. So yeah, don't hurt yourself for a Gengar. Let's cook him. So, I mentioned last video, don't keep the soldering iron in one place for too long because you'll just go straight through the plastic really quickly. it's nice work, you know. I like doing this because I think this is where the real shaping starts to come in. I'm trying to look at it through my camera, so it's hard. I need to figure out my methods here, so just bear with me for the first few videos. I'll clean things up. I feel it's really important to share your work, and I'm just trying to make sure that other people get the opportunity to see. It's not that hard, and it doesn't have to be that good. You can still just find a way to chill out and close your mind off to the noisy world, slow things down and make something, you know. Anyway, good luck to you if you have a go. I hope these 2 videos have helped show you. It doesn't need to take that long, it doesn't need to cost that much, and you don't need to get things that right on your first attempt. Just dive in, you coward. You know, the soldering iron really helps clean things up really quickly. I've learned to rely on it a lot, so that's why I'm pretty messy with the initial 3D work. You can totally be a lot cleaner, and everybody will work very differently. You can spend a lot more time with the drawing aspect, I guess, with the pen. The first few figures I spent a lot of time with sanders and little Dremel tools, but I found if I just spend a little longer with this soldering iron and get the right tip, that was a big part of it. Like, I'm using an angled tip that I've found works well. But initially I had a standard soldering iron tip and it wasn't working. And I did have another soldering iron, it didn't seem to get as hot, and that wasn't working. So there's plenty of reasons I could have quit straight away, but I wanted to make it work. So just keep at it, keep trying things until it works. Anyway, it's the weekend here. It's Friday anyway, so we're kicking into the weekend. I hope you have a good weekend. I hope you make something or just chill out. Just going to clean up this mouth. Don't think I like the teeth, and we're going to spend time probably filling in the mouth later, and we'll redo the teeth. But let's just clean up the back. I really don't want to spend 30 minutes on this video today, and we shouldn't need to. Starting to look a little bit nicer. Oh, we're cooking plastic now. We're getting it done. You know, if you wanted to make a bunch of these, you could very easily use a 3D printer and just jam out a bunch of shapes and then sit there and just go over the circle and, you know, add the handmade elements, I guess. But, you know, for me, I really enjoy making the whole thing by hand. I think it's really important to keep handmade stuff in the world. So you do you. Don't let anyone tell you what to do, ever. Like, just jam it out, figure out figure out how to bring your vision out, whatever medium and however you do it. That's really cool. So, the world needs to see it. Right, we're starting to get things cleaned up, and we might nearly be able to get some paint down shortly. If you're still with me, thank you. Hopefully the video comes out okay in the edit and it's watchable, and that extraction fan's not too loud. It's a pretty big extraction fan that I have going because I really don't want any fumes, but I can probably look at getting something better and set this studio up a little better for making videos. We'll just see how they go, I guess. I did notice 2 subscribers since last video, and that's really, really encouraging for me. I was stoked to see anybody, and I got a comment from somebody there, and they did mention that it looked a bit rough, and I was like, yeah, I know. I felt like I had to, explain why, but I don't, and that's fine. Things are gonna be rough. Don't take it to heart. Things are supposed to be rough. Fail, I think I heard it once, fail means first attempt in learning. So, yeah, you have to fail. Oh, I'm off camera. Sorry, bro. Again, I'm trying to watch it over top of my phone while I'm filming, not burn myself, not get my hair stuck in the extraction fan, and yeah, it's an experience. Okay, you know what, we might even just hurry this up and run to the next stage. I nearly said phage, astrophage. Yeah, we might go to the next stage and start using some, I don't know, I'll show you a couple of options we might use to just try to get rid of the plasticky look, I guess, but definitely cleaned it up quite a lot in a pretty quick amount of time. I kind of I feel I need to get it to a point where I can make a little title for my video that people might look at and go, oh, that's a cool looking Gengar. But then I'd have to spend a long time, so I'm torn. Let's just get it to a stage where it's good enough. It's nearly there. Again, be really careful to spending a lot of time in one area. You're better off. Sometimes you just can't quite get it to shape how you want, and you sit there going back and forwards. But you're better off moving on to another spot and then coming back, or else you'll find you can really deform everything that you've done really quickly. You see it? It's sort of getting there. find using the round part and just letting it roll around quickly is a really nice way to smooth. Okay, I'm just going to try to clean this mouth up a little bit and get it a little bit more Gengar. It was a little bit chonky. Flatten out those feet so he stands up okay. Clean up the top of the mouth here. It looks messy when you zoom in that close, but hopefully no one looks at it that close. We've still got quite a bit of work to do, and you could spend a lot of time here, and there's so many people that are much better painters, people that have done minifigures. You know, there's a lot of techniques. I guess once you get the form, you can do a lot of work to bring it out. And I guess I don't want to spend a lot of time going through that on this little figure. I just want to get my video out and get the channel started and try to find an audience before I spend a lot of time on things. I've got other stuff to make for other things, so yeah, this is just a way I wanted to try to inspire the world. My little version of Bob Ross. I'm a huge fan of art and a huge fan of people making. Yeah, I want to push that out there. The more AI I see, the more I want to do this. So here we are. Please support it. Do it yourself. Get out there, make a maker channel. Make a make place. Alright, we're going to finish up the soldering iron part of this. You've watched that for long enough. Maybe I'll speed up some of that footage. But yeah, I don't think we're going to make the most perfect Gengar ever on this first video series, but we're gonna make a Gengar. Righto. Let's do something else to get it to the next stage. I'm going to use this, some gel medium, and quickly give it a bit of a coat with a brush and a bit of water just to smoothen out the edges. Because I've used a bit of soluble crayon, it should start to take a bit of colour, but that's not what we're trying to do at this point. So let's do that really quickly and see how it looks. I don't take good care of my brushes. Don't expect that on my channel. I just use it and I get stuff made. There was another option I was looking at, which was a bit of a fiber paste, and maybe we'll make some fiber paste in another video. Modeling paste, fiber paste. But I have this here, and it's where my brain said to go, and that's how I make. So it's kind of, I guess, a bit PVA gluish. You could make something like this and just get it on there. Try to remove that plasticky look and also squish it into those, those little spots that weren't quite filled up. and just give it a good coat, and then we'll take a look. Anyway, good thing is you can use some water to smooth this out, so I'm just quickly giving it a quick smash all over to get into those gaps. It's a bit of a filler, you see. It's icky. So from this point, it'll need to dry a little bit. And maybe I'll just leave this video at that stage in my long play format, and maybe I'll just quickly paint it up and show it as a short, or paint it up as a short. Or if you are watching, if anyone watches, drop a comment, tell me what I should do. And if not, I'll just do it. Thanks again to anybody that's watching my channel. I said it wouldn't be 30 minutes and we're at 23 minutes. So, sorry. But how cool is making? We started with nothing and we've made this shape, this form. And now we've got the challenge of trying to bring it out and, you know, bring it to life to a point where you know, you can feel it, I guess. I mean, I can already feel this guy. He's cool. It's not my guy, it's, you know, Pokemon's guy. But an artist made this, and it made so many people believe in this little guy. And it gives me a bit of joy just painting him. So making him, I still get stoked. I didn't, as you can see on this video, I didn't spend a lot of time or plan much. I just sort of jumped in, got going. And to get to this point where I look at it and I can see what I hoped, what I had in my vision. Yeah, cool. How cool is that? Anyway, let me know what you think. Get a Scribed Pen. I don't have any affiliate links at all with anybody. But yeah, the things I use, I find work. And if they don't, I don't use them. So if you see things on my channel, it's working for me, you know. What we're going to do, like, I'll keep doing this, but at this point we're going to let this dry for a little bit, and it will look a little bit white and ghosty, like Ghost Gengar. And once it dries, I'll do a short, I think, when I paint it, but I'll probably use a little bit of ink and maybe some watercolors, and we'll just see what happens. And I guess right at the end you could even then come back and put a bit of resin over top to really finish it off. So let's just see how it ends up as our very first figure. I guess it might become a little bit sentimental to me if the channel takes off, so maybe it's our new channel mascot and I will spend a bit of time on it. Let me know. I'm going to finish this up just before we get to the 30-minute mark. I'll get better at my time management and better at my camera angles, so I will be able to make things a little faster, I think. That's what every artist says. Cool, well the back looks a lot better. Until we get some paint on it, you know, that's from where it was at the start of this video. I could probably put up a little still image here somewhere, and you can compare the apple to an orange, but it's definitely getting much more finished off, you know, to a stage you'd be happy with before you start painting anyway. And then you can spend time with the sander. A bit more water when it starts to get gunky, just a bit more water on the brush, and then you can do a couple of layers, let it dry, come back over. You do you, man. Woman, person, dog, goldfish. Yeah, yucky. I love it. moist. It's looking like an evil little Gengar now. I want to paint some dark brushes in. I just tilted it and saw the shadow around the eyes. That looks cool. I like it. Isn't painting a cool step? You can make it feel how you want. Happy Gengar, dark Gengar, scary Gengar, red eyes, yellow eyes, dark purple. Alright, I'm going to let that dry and I'll come back after a coffee and maybe I'll just throw a bit of paint over it and finish the video up. So I was just using a heat gun just to try to speed things up, and things are still tacky. I'm just trying to rush it, which isn't a good idea. If you're trying to make something good, it's not always a good idea. Sometimes it is. But you know, in a pretty short amount of time, and definitely in an afternoon or a morning, you could have whipped yourself up a little Pokemon for pretty cheap. You know, I think they sell it by a kilo, that filament, and it lasts me ages, like months, not months, weeks. But yeah, that cost me under $20 Australian, and I think I bought two and I got one free, so it's really cheap, medium to work with. There's a few other techniques I'll use that we can, you know, speed things up a bit, I guess. I'm still stumbling my way through this as I figure it out. 3D pens weren't around when I was a kid, that's for sure. And they're really cool. So I mean, maybe you would spend some time, maybe I will. I haven't got it set up to film, but I'll just take it off camera for a sec. Maybe I'll just sand it up a little bit. Alright, I'm going to be the first to admit this isn't the most perfect Gengar, but I'm happy with it at this stage of the video. You know, in 2 quick videos really, and my first videos, and we've been stumbling our way through it, well I have, we've got to this point, you know, and excuse me, that texture paste is kind of dried a little bit now, enough for me to put some paint down, try to make this guy look enough finished to end this video anyway, and make it my second upload. So thanks if you've watched it this far. I'll just grab my paint kit and I'll throw some ink on this little guy. I just can't find my ink, and it's here somewhere. Give me a second. Right, now I'm on the last legs of all of my stuff. Basically, that's why I started this art channel, because I need money. So maybe if I get rich, I'll have better stuff. Or if there's anyone with any art supply shops, reach out. Yeah, I'll use stuff. I'll use heaps of stuff. So I'm just using a little bit of white pigment ink. It's a good way to get white down on something. And what I've started to do lately is use a little bit of white ink with water paint, and it gives me kind of something I'm after. I just make things up. You do you. Let's get painting this little Gengar. This is really rough. I'm not trying to do a good job. I'm just trying to show you some techniques that you might be able to use in your projects. But we've taken it from a roll of plastic to this little guy. And you've got to be happy with that. You made something. I did anyway. You've still got the work to do, so go get the stuff, pick up your brush, have a go. So I didn't use a primer. I'm rushing just to get some colour down. That texture paste will hold some pigment, but I didn't really put a big layer of that down. So again, you know, there's a garbage truck going past, sorry. Work to your needs, you know. If this is for a customer or you're trying to make something to sell, spend the time making it better. Or don't. Okay, a little bit more water in the brush this time, and I'm going to go for a darker purple. I'm just going to use ink on the brush. I'm a messy artist. I do what I need to do. And I love it. Like, I'm so sick of rules. People tell me to clean brushes my whole life, and I don't want to clean brushes. I'll just buy another brush. I know that's bad. But I like to use a brush that's dirty, so it gives me texture. You see how cool this is looking, just with that white ink and a bit of watercolor. It's getting there, isn't it? Again, I'm trying to paint through the phone, so nothing amazing here. But if you go out of the lines, you can just go over it again, wash it off. It's just water-based. Man, making stuff is cool. I don't know, if your kids are into Pokemon and you have an hour or two to spend and you've got the tools to whip them up a little Gengar, they're gonna appreciate that. And if they don't, give it to their friends and watch how jealous your kids will be when their friends enjoy it. Don't really do that, but you know, people should appreciate good art, and this isn't too bad. Don't know if it's good. Should have put his tongue sticking out. Maybe next time. Big red tongue. I just felt that urge. A huge part of my artistic process is to act on those urges. I think they come to you for a reason, and we filter them out often. We go, oh. But, you know, just to quickly go back to that impulse, so easy to do at this stage with your 3D pen. You do a gravity loop, or you draw the tongue down here and then just stick it on. You know, that's the shape, isn't it, of a tongue? And then you just stick it on, and he's got like sticking his tongue out. Wicked. Red or yellow eyes. I think we should stick with yellow. And I think it'd be nice to go over the eyes with some resin, but I don't think we'll get time today. So just going to quickly touch back in that white. Such a rushed job, so you know, give me that much. I'll just let that dry for a sec and I'll come in with the yellows. You can easily come in with a darker shade, even a blue or a different tone. Grab a darker shade of sort of purple or a different type of purple. You can bring in some shadows or underplay the light. Look at where the light hits it here. You can see it coming across straight down onto the object. So everything here is in shadow. So pick where you want the light to hit it, move it around the light source. And you can see the shadows here, so let's paint that. Let's get a darker blue. Just come in there a little bit. where there's those shadows, and that way you're going to give it some depth and a bit of life. Maybe come around the eyes with that darker shade just to give them a bit more definition. Come around the mouth. Maybe we've come too far with that purple there, so we'll just go back with some white in a second. And back and forwards. With that, you know, blending the different shades, it is a bit of a back and forwards job. I think where I see this going is a really sort of darker edges and then blend it all into a lighter middle. Should come up looking pretty Gengar-ish. Okay, we're going to finish this video up because I've got stuff to do. I made a whole coffee and it's just gone cold. So it's looking okay for my first video. Let me know in the comments what you would have done differently, how you would paint it, what would you do? Is there a better technique? Do you have an airbrush? Yeah, all of this. Good options. But cool little mascot to sit on your desk at work, and everybody, maybe they'll ask where you got it or why it looks so bad, and you can say, I made that. And then maybe they won't come to your desk again. Maybe they thought more of you before. That's okay, they're not your people. I'm not letting my layers dry, which I should, but I'm just trying to get it finished. So you can see these techniques I'm using, that's it. So the more time you spend sanding, the more time you spend finishing up your 3D line work with the soldering iron, or even the more time you spend putting down your lines, the better it's going to look. Just going to throw a little bit more colour down on the eyes with these crayons that I can then brush in. These are a soluble, they're amazing. These are really great little products. I think they're Caran d'Ache. I don't know. I don't know how to say big words. I am an artist. And I just wanted to, these are great too for just adding shadow work, a little bit more tone. And then we're going to just use some ink to brush that in again. And if I do any more work to this guy, I'll put it in a short, so please subscribe, watch my shorts as well as my long play. And if you see this guy floating around, say g'day. Maybe when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll start giving stuff away. Maybe we give this guy away, or maybe he just stays as a bit of a mascot for the channel. But I would like to give things away. I like, it's just the postage and the costs. I'm broke. I'm a broke ass artist, so the world should appreciate artists more, I tell you. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a bit so it looks better. I'm way zoomed in. I don't want you to see detail. Not on my first video. Thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind giving this guy some red eyes. It'll work well with the purple. He looks a bit angry, he looks a bit dirty. So I've got some red filament. I had just a little bit sitting there, meant to be. I do believe sometimes art is just like that. It's meant to happen, isn't it? So let's stick some red in his eyes, and maybe it'll be something that we don't like and we'll paint over, but let's just try. Just going to let that run out. You'll see it'll switch over to a red. Okay, happy with that. I'll stop it. Get rid of the mess. Get our little guy. I guess here's where you could... look, I'll do the tongue, why not? Welcome to my art studio. So bad at this. I'll get better at the angles. I can easily do this much better. But yeah, I'm just doing a quick tongue. And I'm not going to stick it on, but I'm showing you. I'm angry tongue Gengar. Anyway, let's do some eyes. I've already got a bit of storage left and my battery's about to run out. I've got to stop this horseplay. Yeah, that's cool. I think how it blends into the yellow sort of works. And yeah, really rough paint job, really rough everything for this guy. Let's do a black outline, draw in the teeth, and maybe I'll do a couple more coats in a UV layer, but I'll call this done for today. I think because it's been a really long video, and if you've watched this far, I really appreciate you. Please share this video with other makers. I need to grow the channel, and that'll help me make more stuff. So yeah. You could use a permanent marker now, a Sharpie, to just do those edges. Let's do that. You could use a crayon, you could paint it on, nail polish. This is a really bad brand Sharpie, and it's running out, like, and it's not working how I wanted, so let's switch it over. Yeah, so I'll try a bit of crayon. I just went and stared at everything and my mind went blank. Felt like 10 minutes, but it wasn't. Sharpen the crayon. Is that called sharpening it when you remove the paper? I don't know. This is also soluble, so if I just sort of draw it on the edges, and then we can come back over with a bit of moisture. Yeah, I don't know if this is working or not, but I'll be able to tell in a minute when I get my brush, so clean it up that way. Do you know how many times I get to the end of something I've spent so long on and I try one more idea? Just one more idea. No, don't do it. It'll come good. So we'll come back over this with a little more white, just after we blend things in, and a bit more yellow again, and we'll bring that tone back out. I think the red works, you know, but I've muddied things up by trying a couple of techniques that didn't work, but we can bring that back. That's easy. Hey, well, hopefully with this first little guy that we've made in these two videos, you get a bit of an idea about what I'm trying to do with my channel. And hopefully you can come along for the journey as we grow and get better at making stuff. You could start making things now as well, and we could just both get better together. And yeah, celebrate as we make things every week. I'll try to upload every week anyway. So I'm going to finish up on this little Gengar. But all in all, we took it from pretty rough place at the start of today. Even rougher place at the start of yesterday. You know what, we started with basically a bunch of mess like this. And we took it to at least this. What this needs to happen now, I just need to let the white dry. Do the teeth. A little bit of yellow around the eyes again because I muddled that up before. And I don't think the camera light's really grabbing everything. I've started to just do a bit of blending of some highlights. I'll do some shadows. We'll try to bring it all together. And you know, in the end, hopefully we'll end up with something, I guess, kind of like a bit more like this, which it is already starting to get there. I had fun making this. I hope you had fun watching my video. Please hit that subscribe, like, share it around, drop a comment. It really helps this video get moving on YouTube. So thanks, I'll see you next time. This is The Make Place. I'm Josh. Bye for now. Well, there you go. Look at, I finished this up. Spent a little bit more time just adding a bit more gel paste. And then I gave it a little bit more attention with the paint. And got it to a place where I could be happy for my first video. I didn't spend a lot of time with this, as you saw. You can watch the whole process is 2-part video. So go back and watch the first video. And this is the second video. And we've got ourselves a little Pokemon to play with. So I'll spend some more time on my next upload. I've learned a few things for this first initial video. And yeah, we'll go from there. I've noticed a few subscribers jumping on board. So thank you so much. That's really encouraging. I'll keep making, you keep making. And I'll see you back here at the Make Place. Bye.